Hi, Jay. Oh, let me unmute you.
Hey.
I just want to wait another minute or so for Dean. He's supposed to be
Yeah.
coming on board.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 5:30, and we're going to mark Dean down for a tardy for his first meeting.
First meeting. Oh boy.
I would make a motion that we approve the minutes of the August 24th, 2020 special meeting and the September 3rd, 2020 meeting of the Board of Selectmen.
Second.
Jay, that was just a sort of a housekeeping. That 24th, we passed the motion due to the executive order. We just never approved the minutes of that special meeting.
Okay, no problem.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So moved. No communications. I'm gonna hold off on Dean's appointment until we get him, Jay.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Just go on to my report. I don't have a whole lot. I just wanted to talk a little bit. The schools are up and running now. They've got a couple of 2 or 3 weeks under their belt. We've had one confirmed COVID case at Region 12. I spoke with Megan Bennett, superintendent. They had all the proper protocols in place, and things are smooth. There was no other, they did all the contact tracing, no other incidences. The one individual was quarantined, and we're in good shape. So just
Great.
really a bump in the road.
Did I saw kids today at the gunnery? Are they now opened? And do you know what the status is with their enrollment?
Yeah, Jay. So they had like a 2.5 week sort of slow move in of the kids, and that was specifically COVID related to keep everything families separated, social distancing, that kind of thing. So they're up and running at full capacity, not full capacity, but they've got all their students back that are staying on campus, as well as their day students, and they've got all their protocols in place. No issues.
Great.
Heard from Carney O'Brien at Montessori, same. So we're, knock wood, we're in good shape. We'll just keep this trend going forward.
Great. And I mean, obviously gunnery, they have a large majority of kids living on campus. So I assume they have their protocols to deal with that. So
they do. Theirs were, in all of our independent schools were pretty comprehensive, as was Region 12. But to your point, got the added element of kids living on campus.
Exactly. Yep. Okay.
We're continuing to work with PURA in the state of Connecticut to make things right with Eversource and try and straighten out the debacle that was their storm response. So there's a lot of long-term things going on that the municipalities across the state want straightened out with Eversource. What we, and we're involved in that as well, but what we actually signed on to was an emergency, a court order for emergency relief. What this would do would immediately require Eversource to provide towns in the event of a storm with a make-safe crew prior to the event, set up a liaison physically in the town, and establish lines of communication with public works and municipal government. So that would give us immediate, the 3 top things we didn't have during the hurricane and the storm that followed that really wreaked havoc.
When you said, Jim, an executive, this is coming from Governor Lamont's office rather than the.
No, it'll be a court order, Jay.
A court order. Oh,
yeah.
What are they basing that on? A court order to do that?
Because they don't want to wait for. Well, they want to start off with PURA to make. They don't want to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I don't disagree with the concept. I think that's what they need to do. I just was curious how they're doing it through a court order. That's all.
Well, they're doing it through PURA first, but they're doing it in conjunction with the court order, so that if PURA doesn't act, the municipalities will be able to act through the courts. We're hopeful that PURA will grant this emergency relief.
Okay.
It seems to be no sense why they wouldn't, Jay, but who knows?
I see that in the paper today, Eversource is asking for a $700 million loan from the state because of the storm. So
Yeah, Eversource, in spite of everything that's gone on, in spite of the unanimous feedback from the 150 towns that they serve, still manages to function in a fantasy land.
yeah,
That somehow their level of service was exemplary.
I know, it's amazing. All right.
And that's all I had for the first selectman's report. Anything under old business?
Well, why don't we go to the new business? And I had just a couple questions about a few things, but let's go to new business first, if that's okay with you.
Sure, that's fine. So Jay had reached out to me last week and thought it would be a good idea, and I agree completely, to have our town clerk Sheila, our Democratic Registrar of Voters Denise, and our Republican Registrar of Voters Lois join us at this meeting with the up and coming election in November, and just to address any needs that they may need. So Sheila, would you like to start? Oh, let me unmute you. Hold on. Sorry.
And if I could just add too, people do, surprising to me, but a lot of people read our minutes, which was I find. So anything you guys can help with, helping people who might read these about what they need to do in terms of an absentee ballot or coming down the day of the election, whatever, just so we have a sense of what you're trying to do and set it up. All
okay, right. You can hear us now?
Yep.
Okay. I'll talk a little bit later about what I'm doing and also what's going on in this office. I just have to say that Denise, Lois, and I meet on a regular basis, and we are working very well together on trying to make this transition go smoothly. So I'm going to let Denise and Lois kind of pop in here, and then I'll come back and tell you a few more things from this office.
Yep. So I think as far as people goes, the most important thing is to make sure that their information is up to date. Like if anybody has moved within town, to make sure that we have their current address where they're living. And even we found out that mailing addresses, a lot of people for the primaries, when those absentee ballot applications were sent out, if people had an old P.O. box or decided to use a P.O. box, we received a lot of those applications back because the mailing address was wrong. So people should double check to make sure that the mailing address is correct.
And where do they do that, Denise? Now, with town hall being closed, what's the best way to go about checking that?
So they can call the registrar's office, which is 6355, or they can email us and double check. Unfortunately, I went to see that you can see if where you're registered to vote by going to the Secretary of State's website, but it doesn't give you the full information. It'll tell you if you're registered, and it will tell you if you're with a party or if you're unaffiliated. But it doesn't tell you, it won't give you all the information there, unfortunately. So the best way to do it, but it's especially for those who at one point in time had a P.O. box or got a P.O. box or any of those kinds of situations, or moved. So keeping things up to date is important as far as that goes. And that's the most important, important thing. And if they want to, register to vote, they've got time to do it, and just don't wait. The sooner you do it, the better.
And the same thing, Denise, in terms of registering to vote, if you're not currently on the website, is there information about filling out the proper forms and getting them to you guys to do?
Yes.
Because I know the offices aren't open. That's why I'm, yeah.
Exactly. Thanks, Jay. They can go to the registrar's page on the town website. And I believe it's up in the left corner. There's a link that will take them to the Secretary of State's site to register online, or they can download a paper file that they can fill out and either drop off in the drop box on the town hall steps or mail. And then on the town hall steps, there's also a clipboard that has those registration cards available for them. So they
Great.
can make, and then again, if they do feel they have to make changes to address or parties, anything else like that, those same cards can be used for that.
Okay.
I think you covered it very well, Denise.
All right, Lois.
Lois, do you have anything else to add, or?
No, I think she's handled it perfectly.
Okay. So from the town clerk's perspective, we've the problem we've been having is it seems to change every day. We get emails from the Secretary of State's office or from the Connecticut Town Clerks Association, and it seems to change all the time. There's no handbook, there's no manual. So we have to reach out to each other and to the state and ask for some help at times. I am going to need, Millie is adding some more hours, so she's going to be coming in. Millie is the assistant town clerk, so she started working more hours. We are just overwhelmed right now with not only phone calls and emails about elections, but land records are just going crazy. As you know, there isn't much left in Washington to buy, and it's all coming through here. And then we've got marriage licenses, because it seems like everyone's now downsizing, so they're going to the Mayflower to get married. So, and then you've got your other miscellaneous duties going on. So town clerk's office is pretty overwhelmed right now, and we are trying to return all phone calls in a timely fashion. What we need to do is put a message on our phone, because when they can't reach us, they start calling the other departments. So we need to do that. We're thinking we've got to put some more things on the website. And Millie and I were talking about even putting something at the end of the sidewalk's going to be ripped up pretty soon, but putting something out where it just, gives a little bit more basic information.
So Sheila, can you talk a little bit about you're mostly dealing with people who are looking for absentee ballots, correct?
Correct.
In
And
terms of the voting, I know you're dealing with a lot of other stuff,
Yes.
but in terms of
Yes.
voting. So what's the process nowadays? And I thought the state was mailing out
the state is mailing every voter in Connecticut an application. That we're a W. Washington is a W. So from what I understand, they've been doing it alphabetically. They started last week. I don't know if anyone yet in Washington has received an application yet, but we're toward the end of the alphabet. Between the registrars and myself, we have decided to order a lot of ballots, both absentee and regular ballots, because we just feel that we don't need to be run short. The town clerk's office does not begin to issue absentee ballots until October 2nd. There are some overseas people that we are going to have to reach out to, but some of the overseas people are also registered electors. So, we have to figure out if they get the regular ballot, if they're going to get, a blank ballot. That's what we're doing now. So
Is there anything that the town can do to help you or Lois and Denise? Do you need more help?
Well, I don't know if you've noticed all the boxes that UPS has started to deliver, but
I have.
There's a lot of boxes, and it's all envelopes. And so I'm also getting connected to CVRS, which is the Connecticut Voter Registration System. The registrars are on that, and I'm getting connected. So eventually, when all those applications start coming in that the state sent out, we just scan the ballot, scan a certain barcode, and that should then issue a label. But I'm going to have someone come in next week and at least just start assembling the envelopes. We don't have the ballots yet. That comes from Atkins Printing in New Britain. And they're very good about getting things out. So we should be receiving the ballots soon, but they will not be issued until October 2nd. But we want to get them all put together before then.
Sure.
So that they can go out.
If anybody, I know I've had a couple of people ask me if there was anything they could do to help. Volunteer. They're looking to just volunteer to help keep the process going. Is that something that they can do? Should they contact, first off, is that can you use volunteers to do some of this?
I'll talk to Lois and Denise about that.
Okay.
A person that I have coming in that's going to help next week has some experience already with the registrars.
Sure.
So she knows how that process works. And if we need someone just to come in, even just to count up things, you know, the number of envelopes or something.
Yeah.
We can have someone. So yeah, but I would have them email us rather than
Okay.
call.
Yep. So
Great.
I also heard, Sheila, and maybe you have more information about this. I know right now, and Denise, we talked a little bit about this, but once the absentee ballots come in to your office, Sheila, before, I guess they have to be in by November 3rd, correct?
8 o'clock. Once the polls close at 8 o'clock, and we have that official ballot box outside.
Right. So I know the state right now says you can't count ballots until the election day, correct?
Correct.
I heard, and I don't know if you've heard about this, but I heard the legislature was going to have a session and they might allow you to start counting early. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't received any information on that, but we'll certainly, the president of the Connecticut Town Clerks Association is very good about keeping us updated.
Okay.
Unfortunately, sometimes her email goes into my junk mail, so I have to check that every day. And I'm not the only one it happens to. It's been happening to several other town clerks. So
The only hard thing about that, Jay, is if you start counting and opening those things up ahead of time, then you're talking about securing the machine and that you'd be sending it through the tabulators. So that would all have to be secured, as well as those open ballots.
Well,
too.
yeah.
So while it sounds great time-wise to be able to do it, I think there could be some other things that would come in the way. But
Well, I think, and I don't mean to speak for Jim, but I think you would agree with me. Whatever, from our perspective, in terms of making sure that people in our town are able to vote, and we've always had a high voter turnout, and trying to make it within this, what's going on today with COVID and everything, whatever we can do to help you with additional resources, whether it's extra hours for people in your office, or if we can recruit volunteers, if that's appropriate. Jim, I think you would agree, we'll do whatever we need to do, you know.
Yeah, that was kind of my point to Sheila. We'll, and Denise and Lois, whatever you need, we'll get you. If you find,
Right.
We don't want you to be just barely keeping your head above water. We'll get out ahead of this and get you what you need for sure.
Yeah.
great.
So just keep that in mind, and obviously, you know where we are. We're happy to get. I know there's people out there who will help if we need to. And Sheila, you mentioned about getting hooked up with the state on that scanner system you mentioned before.
yes.
Are you going to need some technical support to get that going? Because I can make sure that Jared comes down and helps you if that's necessary.
He's been in twice, and he's contacted, there is somebody through the state, an IT person, and so he has been in touch with them. They've started the process, so hopefully by next week we should be on that.
All right. Do you have a date for when he's coming in next week yet? Or
I thought John said he might be coming in Wednesday. I think
that's
John
you-
is,
that-
because I think John is back Tuesday, so I think it's
Yeah.
Wednesday.
All right, I'll just touch base with Jared and I'll email him, and if I get a date, I'll let you know, just so you know when he's coming.
Great, thank you. And Mandy, I can give you any information for the minutes, tomorrow, okay?
Sheila, Denise, and Lois, thank you. It's greatly appreciated.
Yep.
Sheila, I mean, everybody's welcome to stay, but you're certainly going to stay for our next agenda item.
Yes, and you want me to actually do the oath?
I would, if you
Okay.
wouldn't mind.
Sure.
Well, thank you both.
Thank you.
Jay and
Thank you all.
Jim. Your
Thank you.
support
We
means a lot,
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank
All
you.
right.
right?
Keep us up to date too, if you wouldn't mind. Just let us, it'd be great just to get an email that, things are going okay, if that's the way it is. So thank you.
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
So we'll move up to, we'll go back to appointments and resignations with a mild scolding of Dean. Being tardy, but it by no means gets you off the hook. So I would make the motion that we appoint Dean Sargent to the Board of Selectmen until November 2023.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Let me,
Yeah.
I would like to just go
Thank
through
you.
a little bit and talk about the process of how we got here. So when any member of the board leaves the board, the remaining 2 members will appoint an individual to fill that term. What we do in our policy here in town is if there's whatever party member that person might be, that's who we solicit the town committees for suggestions, and then the remaining board members get together and make an appointment. There's certainly a procedure if they should disagree. I'm not even going to go into it because Jay and I did not disagree. We were both concurrent on this. So that's, if anybody has any questions, that's sort of how the process works. And I know this is certainly not unprecedented. It happened the last time I was on the Board of Selectmen. So that just gives a little insight into how it works. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them or further discussion.
Nope, I just thank the Janet and the board and the Democratic Town Committee for acting fairly quickly to get this get Dean on board. It's good to have all 3 of us there back as a full board again. So I appreciate their efforts there too.
Absolutely. Dean, you want to talk a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Am I unmuted?
You are.
Okay. One, I wasn't tardy. I called in at 5:30 and you didn't see me, but I was on the telephone going in and out of cell coverage. I could hear you all talking about me.
Complaining about you?
Yeah. So I'm now at my computer. I will say that the vetting process that Janet and the Democrats put me through was quite extensive. Hours and hours of interviews and testimonials, and there were tears. There were. I think everybody maybe on this call knows me, and I've talked about myself so much lately for these various things. I'm reluctant to do it again much. Will tell you the brief story is that I've lived in Washington now for 35 years, been a member of the fire department for the last 12, for I guess about 20 years now. Both my kids went through the public school here. My daughter all the way from kindergarten through all the way up to college. So our kids are certainly a product of this town, and we love the town and love the people, love the volunteerism, love the dedication of so many folks. And I think that's the best thing I can say for now without going into great detail. The rest of it's fairly boring.
Thanks, Dean.
Thank you, Dean.
We're super happy. So if there's no more discussion, and I don't hear any, all in favor?
Aye.
Welcome aboard, Dean.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you. And Sheila, Dean, if you've got a minute, Sheila will read you the oath and swear you in.
You bet.
Hey, and Jim, I'm unmuted right now?
You are.
Thank you. All right. So first of all, Michelle, thank you for your months serving on the board.
Absolutely.
We appreciate everything you did. So,
Absolutely.
so Dean, I need you to raise your right hand, please. And I can't see you right now. Where are you? Has he got his hand raised?
He does.
Yep.
Okay.
He does.
Okay. Oh,
I do. If I talk, you'll see that.
Oh, there you are. There you are. I see you. Okay. All right. You solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, your duties as a member of the Board of Selectmen for the town of Washington to the best of your ability, so help you God.
So help me God.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, you can mute me now, Jim.
No worries. Thank you, Dean. So Dean, you're on board. We're going to jump down to old business. And Jay, you had a couple of...
Well, I was just going through my notebook, the infamous notebook, and
Right.
I wasn't sure if we did this or not. So we had put out a legal notice about a request for proposals for drainage improvements to Tinker Hill Road. They were due back in August, but did we get any proposals, and have we moved forward with that, Jim, or is that?
Yeah, we did. We got one from Cardinal, Jay, and we moved forward with it. They're going to do
All right. I didn't recall, and I didn't have it marked off. So, all right. And what's their timeline in terms of getting a report back to us? Do you know?
Sometime before the end of the year, because this won't go out to be done until
Yeah.
next fiscal year, Jay.
Right. I know. All right. I thank you. That was one that just was sitting there. I wasn't sure about it. So thank you. And that's the only thing I had on my list for today. So
Let's go to visitors. Anybody just have anything to say? Michelle, let's unmute you, our Economic and Community Development Coordinator.
So weird having to wait to be a visitor. I just wanted to welcome Dean. I'm thrilled that he has agreed to step into the Board of Selectmen, and I look forward to working with all three of you now. It's been a great board. I think you'll really enjoy working with Jay and Jim. We've had a lot of, we're working well and getting a lot of things done, and I just look forward to working with all three of you now in the future.
Thanks,
Great.
Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. I'll reserve that. You know how I feel.
Nikki froze it
Tough
just
shoes
in
to
time.
follow, Michelle.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Probably a good thing.
I see there's a couple other folks on. If you can certainly unmute yourselves, if Howard or Chris, if you have anything, Joan, Leslie, Linda, Lance, Dan.
All right.
We're all done. Oh, Joan, wait a minute. Go ahead. Wait a minute. You can unmute yourself, Joan. There you go.
Oh, I did. Thank you. I just wanted to say welcome to Dean also. I'm glad we have a full board again. And Michelle, thank you for all that you did. The other thing I wanted to mention, Jim, is I read in the paper today that the town of Washington, through you guys, donated tents to Chippewa.
Correct.
And as Jay said, many people read the minutes. They don't get the newspaper, so I would just like you to maybe address that and say thank you to you guys, because the collaboration between the schools and the town is so important right now. And we had tried to donate one to them, but it wasn't big enough. So thank you.
Thanks, Joan. And yeah, sure. Let me just give a little explanation to that. So this came to Michelle first, I believe, from Julie King from the PTO, Michelle. And it was a fairly, it had come about really quick. It came about on a Friday and needed to be sort of resolved by Monday. So, and the PTO has got a lot of skin in the game on this, but they were short of funds. So what we did was we approached two different organizations, the Washington Community Fund and the Village Improvement, I believe, that both kicked in to make this happen. And that was sort of the essence of what took place, Joan. But it was a big help to the PTO, I believe, and the kids and the parents and the schools. So we were happy to do it.
Well, I think it absolutely is helpful to them. And that's why I wanted the recognition that other people may read about it and be very pleased with how our town responds to these things.
Yep.
Thanks, Joan. Thank you.
Yep. And just to throw that in, I mean, Megan Bennett, who's been the superintendent now, what's she going on? 2 years, 3 years now? She's been great. I know Jim has had numerous meetings with her, and she's really been great coordinating with us and working with us. It's been a nice experience with her so far. So.
She's been amazing. And I'll share one thing with you. I mean, you folks know me, I'm an early bird. After 8 o'clock, I'm done. But I sent her an email at 5 o'clock this morning. At 5:07, she responded. So I don't know when she sleeps. I mean, it's just.
I had to yell at her. I wrote her once on a weekend, and she wrote me back 3 minutes later. I wrote her back and said, "Don't ever write me again on the weekends. You're supposed to have a few minutes off." So I know she's incredible.
She's amazing. So Dean, I would entertain a motion for adjourn if there's no more visitors.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I have a second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? So moved. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you
Dean.
all.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
Bye,
Great.
folks.